because I'm okay spending $1,000 knowing that something doesn't work instead of sitting there at night wondering, did that work? Would that have made me $2 million?
Aaron, what's up, brother?
What's up, man?
So we got a very special guest today, and you guys are in for a real treat. Indy Roof Restoration's Aaron Christy. Aaron, tell us something about yourself to the audience. Something they got to know.
Something that what?
Something the audience has to know that you want them to know right off rip.
Oh man, talk about ripping me on the spot immediately, man. Is this how you open all of them, man?
Yeah, we keep them guessing.
Yeah, so I will say that I got into roofing in 2018 with pretty much no prior experience. I worked in roofing for a few months, but before that I was in a family business which was educational publishing and had nothing to do with the construction industry. So being into roofing was, if you would ask me 10 years ago and somebody's gonna be like, oh, you're going to be a general contractor in your life, I would have laughed at him because I don't like working on stuff. I don't like fixing stuff. It's never been my thing. So it's just kind of funny where the world takes you when you allow it.
Yeah, I love that, dude. And we're definitely going to dive into that. But first, I want to thank the team for Roofer for making it happen. They help us make the show possible. So if you need instant roof quotes, roof measurements, clean and pristine proposals, which will turn your prospects into customers, click the link in the description. They'll know I sent you. You'll be happy that I did. First off, I want to say thank you. You've been very patient. So our office is in Buffalo, New York. I'm not in Buffalo, New York. So I've been renting out studios to do shoots. And first of all, the traffic here, it might take you 45 minutes, it might take you 2 hours, and you just never know. You're playing Russian roulette. So, it was supposed to be a 36-minute drive. It turned into a 52-minute drive. And I'm the type of guy I like to leave myself a little room to decompress, get ready. So I walk into the studio. There's 12 minutes on the shot clock before we, air. And then the technical issues start coming, and that's on me. I got to be better. And you have been just incredibly patient with me, and for that I am eternally grateful, sir. Thank you so much.
No problem. Like I said to you earlier, man, it's no big deal. I just clicked it on and kept working, and I figured I'd wait till you pop on, and you got it worked out, and now we're here. Thriving.
Look at us. Look at us go. All right, so talk to me about what you had mentioned. You were in publishing, a family business, and then in 2018, now you're a roofer. Bridge the gap for me, because I'm a curious person. You got to satiate my appetite for curiosity here.
Yeah, man. I just went into the family business after high school. It was an educational publishing company, which what that is they built and sold materials for people to study college exams, and it helped people. And mine specifically was I helped LPNs and LVNs get the credits to get an Associates of Science and Nursing degree. So I traveled all around the country. I evaluated what transcripts they had, what classes they still needed. I sold them those courses. That eventually evolved into online classes as technology advanced. And it was cool, man. It was a pretty good gig. I made great money. It was a 100% commission sales job. And I got to travel all over the place. I had airline points, I had hotel points. If I wanted to, I did a 2-week vacation through Europe for basically free, off of points. But it was a lot of work, as traveling sales reps know. It's home a week, gone a week, home a week, gone a week. And I got married. I had 3 beautiful daughters. It's just difficult after that, because when you're home that week, you're not really there because you're prepping, getting everything back in order. And then that weekend, even though you're home that weekend, you're leaving on Sunday or Monday. So you're just kind of focused on that. And kids are crying, every time they're taking me to the airport. And it got to be a lot. So I knew I had to do something different. I got introduced into roofing, fell in love with it. Here we are today. It's just it was a weird transition, but I'm happy. With that job, I felt like it was 90% problems. A lot of people didn't study the materials because a lot of it was at your own pace thing, and human nature, they're doing their thing, jobs, kids, everything else. they're not coming home and studying. So they're not passing the courses because they're not completing them. They're not even taking the tests. So they're upset because, they sign up for all this stuff and then they don't do the work. And then the travel on top of that and everything else, it was just like 90% problems. And I feel like in roofing, like most people are happy, right? Like they're getting new roofs. They like it. They get to redesign things. You're always going to have 10% problem customers that don't want to pay the bill or, something goes wrong or whatever. But for the most part, I feel like it's flip-flopped and 90% good and only 10% problems.
Only 10%, baby. Let's go. Yeah. I got a lot of questions though. Okay, so it makes sense. Like 3 young daughters, that's a taxing schedule. So I have an 18-year-old daughter and then I have a 2-year-old son. And I got to tell you, anytime, I have to go away for work, it does, yeah, it sucks initially, but I'm like, it's only a couple days or whatever. And then, I get done with my day and I go back to my hotel, lonely as shit. And I'm thinking about like, I wonder what Everett's doing right now. I wonder how much hell he's raising. Wonder what he's watching, right? And you could FaceTime and things like that, but it's a lot different. I don't know, sitting in that hotel room, not with your kid is like, man. So that makes a lot of sense.
I want to see if I could show you guys this real quick, because what you're saying right now was insane. It's my life. But I went through and let's see if it's on here. So I stayed at Marriott's most of the time when it fit in the budget, right? But you had to fit in the budget. I'd say like 80-85%. And yeah, right here. Let me see this. See if you can see total lifetime nights. 2,296. They went to lifetime. It used to be yearly. And when they did that, I looked at it and I realized I got this package in the mail that said Titanium Elite. You're a lifetime member now. And I looked at it and I did the math. And
it's like 7.5 years.
It was like 6 years at the time I did this. Like I still stay there. Because of that, I still stay there when I go on vacations. But I'm like, I have lived in a hotel away from my family, the people I love, for 6 years of my life. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this like you. I have a 19-year-old daughter. I got an 11-year-old daughter, and I have an 8-year-old daughter. So, it's just like it's too much.
Yeah, 18, right? It's like you blink an eye, and they go from being cradled in one arm to my daughter just joined the Air Force, and I was like, man, I'm incredibly proud. Also, man, it makes me really sad. Like, wait. Yeah. All the cliches. It's you blink an eye, right?
It's all the stuff that people told you when you were younger that you're like, whatever. And now you're like, yeah, I'm like, oh, my dad wasn't as dumb as I thought he was, He knew some shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and I hope she gets to that point sooner than I did. It took me a while. Sorry, Dad. Yeah, it took me a while to get there. So we'll see. Time will tell, right?
For sure.
So what specifically piqued an interest in roofing, though? There's a lot of different transitions, segues to career paths that, you could argue would have the same value or benefit or even potential compensation. Like what was the allure to roofing?
Well, I never went to college. I wasn't a big fan of school. Sales, I loved. I originally started a furniture store. My wife's dad had he has an auction company, but he filled it with furniture sometimes if they didn't have a bunch of stuff. And so they had this account. And I'm like, man, furniture's a racket. It's like 300 or 400% markup. And so I was like, oh, I'll start this furniture store. And I got a place and I was working on building it out. And a friend of mine was like, hey, somehow he got like handed a one guy, one truck roofing company to deal with. He's like, you want to sell some roofs with me? And I'm like, sure, I like selling stuff. So we learned on YouTube and as much as we could, because he didn't really know about roofing anyway. He was a flooring guy. And we learned over 2017 that winter. The guy came back from adjusting claims in North Carolina, spent a day with him, built some relationships, sold a couple roofs, but then the furniture store opened and, I was kind of pushed that off to the side and was dealing with the furniture store. And then in 2018, that beginning of that year, I'd made some realtor connections and they kept calling me. And at first I'm like, nah, I'm not doing roofs anymore. And I hung up on like three of them, not hung up, uh, and and then finally, like the fourth one called, and I was like, "Why am I turning down business?" I'm like, "Sorry, like I'm not rich. This furniture store is just getting off the ground. I'm spending more on it than I'm making." And so I made an LLC real quick, did a roof for this person, and then a storm hit, August 28th of 2018. And I was like, well, let me see what I can do. I have this company now. Um, I did a text blast. I got on every like major real estate website that's local here. Almost all of them list the realtors, like the agents, like this office. Here's all your agents. Here's their cell phone numbers. Here's their emails. I paid my sister to compile a list of like all of those, it was like 2,000 realtors. And then I just text them like, hey, here's a picture of the storm swat that just happened. If you got any listings in these areas, I'd be happy to take a look so you don't get jammed up at closing. That was it. Just pop, 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 pop. And I did that. And dude, I got busy as hell. Like I had 14 inspections. Most of the realtors are like, hey, actually come look at my property.
Yeah.
All of this are like, I got 3 rental properties here. Go look. Next thing I know, those realtors are sharing my information. I'm getting calls from realtors I don't know. This is when it clicked with me. I was like, one, because of my previous job, I traveled from city to city. So when I was gone a week, I'd be in Atlanta or Georgia, but I'm one day here, one day set. So I'm doing seminars all day. I'm moving around helping people, what I'm used to. So this mocked very similarly to what I was comfortable with, but it was on a local level. So I'd over here to north side of Indy and help somebody. I'd run over to the west side of Indy and help somebody. I'd do these things. And I was just way more comfortable with that than sitting in a furniture store all day. But I got my first like $50,000 roof, right? Which now is with material increases and everything else, probably an $80,000 roof. And I was like, why am I even dealing with this? I like this way more. It's more profitable. I'm moving around, I'm talking to people. I'm not stuck in an office all day, which now I'm not stuck in an office.
Yeah, well, funny how life works.
Full circle. But dude, I absolutely loved it. So I handed the furniture store off to somebody. I went full in on roofing. I did everything myself from the ground up for the first like year and a half. I got a couple part-time 1099 sales guys in about a year and a half. And then 2020, I was like, okay, I feel comfortable growing. And I brought on like a leader. We hired some office staff, brought on sales reps, and then COVID happened. Well, fortunately for me, I was like a relationship guy. I like learned Facebook marketing. I had been really digging into my GBP and building out reviews and things there. We weren't door knockers at all. And so COVID, we tripled in size because everybody else couldn't door knock. And I'm like getting Facebook leads for $2. And I got realtors calling me and, people are calling off of Google. And so, yeah, I mean, it was great. And we just kept going from there.
Well, job well done. There's going to be a distinct difference in this conversation than most conversations I have with roofers. And that distinction is most people deal with only the negative consequence of real estate agents. They always want me to come out and give me an inspection and they ain't gonna buy from me. And I'm like, if you find the right realtors that understand the value of having a solid contractor, I'm like, deals die typically. I have a real estate license. I've sold a few houses. I hate it. Every 5 minutes I spend doing real estate, I feel like I aged 10 years, so I don't do it. But I have done it. And they die because of foundation and roofs. Like those are the scariest things, right? When somebody hears that there's something wrong, and it could be it's missing a shingle, or it could be the foundation has shifted, 4 feet, and this thing's about to crumble. As somebody on the other side of that equation, representing the buyer, we're immediately leveraging that against that person. Like, whoa, hold on a second. You got some issues with the roof. We're going to talk about it. And we're going to figure out what that credit looks like, right? And that loses their client's money, right? So it's tell the roofers listening why alienating real estate agents are one of the biggest mistakes they can make.
I love this. All right. This is like my favorite question. So thank you. So one, there are real estate agents out there that will use you. You can pretty much tell if they're just trying to get an estimate on something to leverage a deal, and just ask them like, "Hey, are you just doing this to try to get, you know, money off over here, whatever?" Like, just be honest with me. If so, I'll write you a report for a couple $100, right? Like, not a problem. If you're sending me roofs, I don't mind doing you a favor here and there, right? But we have made so much money off of real estate agents, but it's all about educating them appropriately, right? Setting the standard of what like the expectation is. And so what we started doing is started saying, "Hey, instead of calling me when you have a problem and it's 2 weeks to closing, the roof's wrecked with hail," because most of the time on a closing, they're going to say have the roof looked at, because that inspection company doesn't want to be on the hook for it. So like most of the time they're just like, have it inspected by a licensed or qualified roofer. And so it's happening anyway. So if you want to avoid all of that, and by the way, you're locked in at a price. So now if you have to do anything on the sell side, you're losing money. Even if it's a deductible for an insurance claim, God forbid there's no storm damage, it's just old and you got to drop 15 grand out of pocket or split it 7,500 and 7,500, right? I'm like, if you call us beforehand, before you list it, we do free pre-listing inspections. I'll come out, I'll look at it. If there's no damage, I'll write you a full report. And all it is, dude, is a company cam report that's got the pictures and a couple things. So it takes me 5 minutes, right? I'll write you a report saying that there's no damage. If there is damage, we file a claim. We get you new roof, new siding, new gutters, whatever's damaged. Now you're listing it for the appropriate price.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do that before. They locked you in at 200,000. Then you have to spend $1,000 on a deductible, or 2,000 or 5,000 or 7,000. Your customer loses money. But I've taken properties that were going to be sold for $150,000, got a $40,000 claim for new roof, siding, gutters. They turn around and sell it for $185,000 and only have $1,000 in that. You just made your client 35 grand for calling me. Didn't have any problems at closing. Everything went smooth. You made them about, hey, they love you.
And the agent made an extra $900.
Yeah, and you made a little bit. You made a little bit. But I guarantee you're going to get more. You're going to get more money from the customers they refer you, because they were expecting to get 150 and you made them 180. Now, not everybody does that. So if you're on the buying side, call me out. I'm going to inspect everything you're buying and I'm going to pick it apart.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
File a claim and get your homeowner instant equity.
Yeah.
Like, this homeowner's paying 200, right? But now I'm getting them new roof, new siding, new gutters. They get to redesign it. They get to pick colors they want, and their house is worth maybe 220 grand, right? So either way, buyers or seller side, it's all about leveraging me appropriately. I'll take care of you. You take care of me. And you find 4 or 5 good realtors that are big in the market and understand that, they're sending you deals all the time. You're knocking out 20, 25, 30 roofs, but just between those guys before referrals. And you'll love this, be an SEO guy. That's 4 chances at Google reviews, because you got buyer's agent, seller's agent, buyer, and seller. So you do a really good job, communicate with everybody. You can ask 4 people for reviews of that.
Yeah. Take it a step further, and I don't know if you guys do this or not, but creating collaborative content. Do a state of real estate in 2026 in Indianapolis. You guys shoot a video together. We write up an article. You can put it right on your website. This is going to help all the visitors. All we ask, it's not going to cost you anything but a backlink. Now you get some equity from their website, and if it's a Keller Williams, a Howard Hanna, like one of these, Realty Max, whatever, right? It helps. Even just that local visibility. That backlink also will help you get equity on the LLMs. Everyone's asking about how do I get found on AI? Do shit like this, and then cross pollinating that to the social media circles, right? Like, you tag them, they tag you. Now they're getting access to your audience. You're getting access to their audience. And now we build a local dominance. And you could, there's multi-facets to that dominance, whether it's, Google LSA, it's working relationships, it's social media. There's a lot of ways that you can go. And a lot of people look at it like, well, we're good. We did X amount of revenue. It's like, dude, take something great and make it fucking excellent. And when it's excellent, make it even better. Like, because all that you're going to do, especially through those dynamic relationships, are bringing leads with no CPA, which make you more profitable So like, if you're not doing these things, don't call me talking about your net profit and how you want to get it up a couple points. Listen to the show and you're going to do it. Let's go.
I love it.
Let's go, baby.
Oh, absolutely. Dude, so me and Matt Danskin argue about this all the time because, as you know, he's an insurance agent guy. He's like, suck. And I'm like, realtors make me a ton of money, this and that. I'm like, insurance agents suck because, they're always trying to not file a claim and this and that, when there's legitimate damage. So it's funny. They're both good, but I like ribbing each other. And it's just because what I'm used to and what I've been very successful at, realtors are awesome if you educate them and use them appropriately and treat them well. You'll have a great time.
Dude, it's like a life partner, right? You got to find the right one. And 99% of people won't be for you, and that's okay. We're finding the 1%. So it's like, you got to do the things to find the 1%. I call them power partners. Anyone who talks to, touches, or influences your target market and your prospective buyers of the services you offer, those are power partners. They can be phenomenal opportunities for relationships. And I created a framework. Click the link in the description. Christian, you could drop it down in there. But it's called Raise the Roof, Lower the Floor. So in 2025, there were a lot of companies that didn't do as well as they did in 2024, whether it's top line revenue, profitability, and or both, right? And a lot of that comes from relying only on paid lead sources, right? Because when the market compresses, and look at guys, Ascend Digital is great. Everyone knows that. But we can't control who's searching, who's bidding on keywords and what those things are costing, right? And obviously, when people feel the squeeze because of buyer sentiment, market conditions, high interest rates, whatever it is that aren't controllable by your amazing brand, Ascend Digital Agency, or anybody else, what is in your pipeline outside of that with that $0 CPA that's the most profitable, right? And that you're not going to be able to find online. So when that squeeze starts to happen, people start bidding more aggressively on Google Ads. And guess what you've got to do? You've got to bid higher too. Now you start paying more. Now your cost per acquisition is higher and your profitability is less. Then you get upset. It's like, okay, well, go meet some good realtors, right? And I'll tell you from experience, the vast majority of realtors, it's either a side hustle or they don't care enough. And you can take realtors out of that and you could probably fill in the blank for any industry, right? Roofers, marketers, doctors, attorneys, doesn't matter. And if you want a list of attorneys to avoid, I could send you a list of that. My good friend's an attorney. And so if you're in Buffalo, I can get you that list. You're waiting 3 days for a response. You don't get a response, whatever. But find those that care, that do volume, that are representing people in the areas that you want to service and provide value to them. And it's no different in my mind than educating a homeowner on the type of roofing system they need. Do I go with metal or do I go with shingles? And what type of shingle? Do I need a class 4? Do I need... One thing that we didn't touch on that I think is incredibly valuable is if you're a real estate agent, you do that pre-listing inspection, right? That's value right there. But think about somebody that calls you out and they're like, they're not listing their house, but you sold a house for them 3 years ago, and they reach out to the realtor and they're like, hey, I need a good roofer. Who are they going to send them to? Or like something needs to be tidied up. The report finds that there's a little bit of, there's a missing shingle, nothing big. There's the flashing's a little screwed up and we got to go in there and reflash it. How many people in owning a roofing company, how many people are going to prioritize that in the thick of the season when they've got 40 builds to do, right? They're like, can't get around to it. But as a result of having this relationship, maybe we can find a way where we can prioritize the needs of your clients.
Yeah.
And that shit hits.
It's funny that you say that. So my wife's a realtor. She wasn't when I started this. She's got her real estate license about 3 years ago. But what I've seen between her and all of the realtors that I deal with is people trust realtors like their priest. They call for everything. And we're not talking about just when they're buying a house, like you said. They'll call their realtor 3 years later because the realtors always have the plugs of all different things. And they're like, hey, do you got a whatever guy for me? Do you got a roof guy? Do you whatever? And so, dude, these people are referring you not just on sales, but all the time. Very valid point and good to point out. So.
Well, we do our best to add value here on the Mission Control podcast. We're on episode 100 something, I always say, because I kind of lose count. Christian, you can, drop in the description what episode it is. But thank you. Yeah, we truly try to be strategic partners for our clients and add as much value as possible. The same way that roofers should do that with, power partners, whether it's a realtor, home inspector, insurance agent, or tag team trades, right? Those vertically adjacent contractors that are selling your prospective buyers the same different shit at the same or different time. Have those same types of relationships with them. Look for opportunities to refer them. Now, make sure they have a good reputation so that doesn't blow back on you, because I've had that happen once or twice. That's why I don't refer many people anymore, because the benefit of that will stay with you, and still will the stink of that relationship if it goes that way, right? So just be careful. But if you have an industry leader in HVAC in your neighborhood, and they're going out and seeing 3,000 prospective customers a year, educate them. Like, hey, when you're pulling up to these houses, by the way, like if you look for this, and this, and you see these things, they're ripe for us to help them, right? And this is what that looks like. It could be monetized. It doesn't have to be monetized, but we are capitalists. And, if you throw them a little something, they might be more willing to help you. I don't know. I like to think everyone's a moral saint and just does the good for humanity just out of the kindness of their heart. But I found that when people are motivated financially, they are more likely to acquiesce to do what we like.
It's definitely more likely, but humans are naturally inclined and greedily. Like, they want to feel good about referring somebody, and then they always ask you, like, use so and so, like, yeah, how they do, like, and so that's like a feeling that they want to feel, is like, they used my guy, I really helped them out, which is awesome. You got to take advantage of that. Now, if you don't do a good job and that person doesn't hear a glowing review, they're not going to use you anymore. So you have to do a good job. But it's like, have you ever looked at a neighborhood post when somebody says, hey, I'm looking for a referral on this on Facebook? There's a million comments on those things. Every HVAC person gets tagged. Like, people tag me in roofing ones all the time. I don't even comment or look at them anymore, because there's 457 other roofers in there that are tagged. But that's people that they want to refer you. You just have to show them that, like, hey, I'm going to make the person feel good and be a good reflection on you.
Yeah. Facts. You like sales, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I got a cold outreach this morning. Actually, as I was sitting in traffic, despising how unpredictable it is to get from point A to point B, and feeling all the burden of stress because I'm a hyper punctual person. So I got an email today, and I usually don't respond to cold emails, especially because, it always seems like they haven't done their research. They don't know what they're talking about, and probably it's just a mass outreach. So I got an email today from a Jamie Sanchez, and it says, "Hi, Michael, I'm Jamie. I wrote you a poem. In Buffalo's heart, where a sun takes flight, crafting brands with a vision, a dazzling sight. With websites that shine and build trust so strong, your marketing prowess is where we belong. Yet when tech bottlenecks start to impede, dreamers step in, fulfilling each need. With AI and systems, we clear the way. Together we'll soar. Let's partner today. Many growing agencies hit a ceiling when complex technical requirements slow delivery, strain internal teams, or block access to high-value client work. Cheers, Jamie." So I responded. I said, 1, what do you do? I'm curious. Good job, right? 2, that's probably the best cold outreach I've ever seen. So bravo.
Yeah. I'll hear what you have.
I'll hear what you have. She followed up with an email. I didn't read it yet, but I will. And it was just really interesting. So how does the approach, like when you're approaching sales, there's a lot of different approaches, right? What's your approach? How do you train your team? Or if you don't anymore, how did you when it was your responsibility? What are some main takeaways somebody watching this could implement that can make them or their team better at sales?
There's a million ways to skin a cat, man. I don't think anybody does it the same. I went around visiting different companies and taking, like, they were nice. Like, they let me come and like visit tour. I went down to Texas, Nebraska, Florida, and everything else, and kind of got a little piece from everywhere. And then you got to fit it to your market, right? But I would say, without trying not to sound corny, truly getting somebody to trust you is how you're going to get a sale. I don't do like hardcore dinner table sales tactics. personally. Like I feel weird doing it. What I try to is give everybody like an honest opinion of what I'm seeing. And then if it's like middle of the road where I'm like, hey, it couldn't get bought, or your roof's okay. Like I tell them that, but I try to lead them to a new roof. Like, hey, is it going to fail tonight? Probably not. But let me tell you the problems that could come up from it and why you want to deal with it. And that's just kind of the way I've always been. Is just if you tell somebody like, hey, like there could be an insurance claim here, it's kind of light. You got a 50-50 shot. 99% of the time, they're going to go for the shot because they want a new roof, right? And like that's how I feel. So I just don't ever want to have anybody come back and be like, well, you promised we were going to get a new roof, and it was denied, because I've seen things that wrecked get absolutely box vents that are smashed half the size from hail, and they're like, no. And then I've seen stuff that get bought that I was like, I honestly didn't think would get bought. You know what I mean? So I just try to give them as much information as humanly possible, and then steer it to the direction I want with reasoning.
Yeah. So provide objective information as to why this would benefit you. Yeah. So I had a conversation with a friend, Danielle. She does similar things to what I do. Shout out Danielle. And, we were talking, and she's like, you have a metaphor for everything, because I was like, yeah, lightning in a bottle. And she's like, you always have something. You're like that sales guy that, I was like, sales gets a bum rap. It has such a negative connotation. Would you agree with that statement?
I would say in its general sense, yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think that's the case?
I would say because they're the sleazy salesmen along the way that sell you something that don't work or you don't need. And so it's kind of become a thing over the years.
Dude, I couldn't agree more. So many people I'll take what I know, marketing. I mean, the amount of people that sell dog shit, right? They sell you the moon, and they deliver Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And listen, if you live in Pawtucket, you caught a stray, and I'm sorry, but it's not the moon, all right? It's not what we were promised. Well, Buffalo, New York, whatever, same thing. Sorry, Pawtucketers. Pawtucketians? I wonder what that would be. Pawtucketites? Oh, it doesn't matter. Just be honest with you. I can't tell you how many people have reached out and like, hey man, I want to do SEO. And I ask them some questions like, why do you need SEO? Well, I need leads. All right. Hey, we could stop there. You don't need SEO right now. Then you need to do something that's more performance-based marketing for right now. You're going to hate me if I sell you SEO, right? But, and again, it's the same thing. You could fill in the blank as far as the industry. There's so many people that are unwilling or unable to objectively assess what that gap is, right? In sales, there's always a gap. Somebody needs or wants something, and you have a product or solution. Hopefully that fits that, and then you bridge that gap. But there's so many people that jam the square peg into a round hole, and do so in a misleading way to be like, this isn't actually a square peg. Let me show you why it's a circle, right? And then everyone hates salespeople. How do you keep those people? How do you vet those people? Like when you're interviewing for a salesperson, how do you suss out? Because salespeople are good at selling, and I'm a firm believer that you're going to get the best version of somebody early in the relationship every time. And maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong a lot in my life. But if I'm a roofing company owner and I'm interviewing a salesperson, how do I suss out like if they're good at sales and won't be a scumbag and ruin my brand or not?
I think that if somebody's willing to, take those roads to try to screw people over, it's not the only thing they're doing it in, right? Like they're probably cheating on their wife. They're probably talking shit about people behind their back. But you know what I mean? Like that is more of a character flaw as a whole, not sales specific. And I like to think I'm a pretty decent judge of character. And I like to think that the company and the people here are decent people. We have one female sales rep, the rest are men. But most of them are married. Most of them have kids. The things that we talk about, we tease each other, harass each other, joking around. We play ping pong, we play sports, we're competitive. But nobody here is talking about grimy things, right? Like he's talking about other women. Nobody's talking about the crazy things that they're doing on the weekends, like drugs and things. You know what I mean? Like it's a good environment. And I think that it breeds more of that good environment. And I think if you're interviewing people, talking to them and asking them questions and just seeing how they respond about their life as a whole, those character flaws will show pretty easily because they don't see them as character flaws. It's normal.
It's just who I am. Yeah.
It's who they are. So to them, it's not like, oh, I need to hide this. It's part of their DNA. And I think that's pretty easy to see on most people.
Is there a question that comes to mind that you ask them that, has historically kind of raised that red flag?
No, I just ask them about their life. And so I don't have like a list of questions for interviews. I'm not running through going, well, what do you do about this? If you were to approach this situation, how would you respond? That always feels awkward to me. I'm just like, hey, what's up, man? How are you? What's going on? Where'd you work? And then we just start a conversation. It's going to lead somewhere different every single time. And then I try to talk people out of working here almost. If they've never been in roofing sales and don't understand it, I tell them all the bad shit. I'm like, it's 80-20. Like only 20% of the people are going to, they're going to get 80% of the deals. Like you have to work twice as hard at the very beginning because you have no pipeline. There's going to be a ramp up period where you're not making much money, and so I give them all of this because I don't ever want anybody to come in and be like, well, you promised that I was going to start and I was $1 million the first day. And
under promise, over deliver, baby.
Dude, so you got to bust your ass because I want them to know, like, you can't come in and say, I'm going to try. Like, you got to come in and say, I'm doing this and I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I'll train in the class from 8 to 5. And then I'll go knock doors or meet realtors or do whatever the hell I need from 5 to 9 during training to start building relationships so that my pipeline's growing. But yeah, I'm off topic a little bit, but it just all comes down to a really good conversation. And you have a true open conversation where they feel comfortable, they'll be themselves, and you'll get a good view of who they are.
Yeah. And that's a really good point about essentially, not in so many words though, but culture, right? Your company culture and what you've built, you tend to attract a different type of person than, maybe another company, right? So that, just naturally kind of curates itself. That makes a lot of sense. You mentioned something there. You said y'all play ping pong?
Yeah. I bet they're playing right now.
Nah, I mean, here's the thing. I was with Austin Fricker. Shout out to Austin. He owns A Fricker Roofing out in
I love Austin. He's a good dude.
That's my fucking guy, bro. So I was there, I think 3 months ago. Went to visit him for a few days, and he's like, "Hey, we can go to Sharky's." Christian, you could tag Sharky's in the description. You guys don't have to thank me. It's fine. You gave me a great experience. So we go there. There's a ping pong table. I'm telling you, like, I haven't played ping pong in a while, but when I did, the boy was nasty. Okay. He's like, all right, let's get it. And, boy, I'll tell you, sorry, Austin, but your boy came out on top. So next time I'm, in your neck of the woods,
he's going to be practicing then, I'm sure.
And if I'm ever in Indianapolis, I'll have to stop by the office and we could let him rip.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same result as Austin. Sorry, Austin, but you're going to get wrecked.
I think I figured out what our next piece of content is.
Come in. We'll line them up.
Line them up. Hey, maybe Austin. Maybe you come out to Indianapolis too, and we can make it a whole thing.
Yeah, there you go.
We could do. You know what we could do? We could do something where it's like, we each pick a charity, and the loser has to make a donation to the winner's charity of choice.
I'm in. I got the table right here. Just let me know when you're coming. You can sideline it with an event here.
Okay.
We can multi-purpose it sometime this year. Figure it out.
This is where the magic happens, folks.
Something with roofing, whatever it is. Line it up, and then we'll have a little charity side event here.
So I want to walk people through this journey, right? I think we had messaged maybe once before, but I've never really spoken much with Aaron. And I saw him on a post I think Reggie Brock made. Shout out to Reggie Brock. That's my guy. And Reggie will be on the show in 2 weeks. He's about 2 hours away from me. He's going to come in and we're going to shoot a nice piece of content. I love Reggie. And then I saw you on the post. I was like, I'm going to have Aaron on. I'm going to shoot my shot. Why don't you come on to the show? I feel like we could have a really good conversation. And now look what's happening, right? We're going to have a charitable event, maybe do something else with it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to make some impact. And then, Aaron's going to get crushed in ping pong. It's going to be fucking fantastic.
Most of that's true.
Let's go. You see the little graphic I made behind me though in Gemini, little nano banana. My head's in the way, but we got your truck wrap there too.
Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, your head's blocking my truck. I saw the red.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, dude.
Did you see that plug you get for a roofer? And then I have my roofer cup right here, dude.
Big roofer guy, man.
That to me, if you guys are listening, that's the only thing I drink out of my desk. It's very useful, gets used every day. Thank you so much for that.
So if you want to be the MVP and stay hydrated like my guy Aaron here, make sure you get, Roofer to send you a little hydro flask, baby. Let's go. Yeah. So you've been through a couple marketing agencies in your day.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, the heartache, the wins, right? And let's talk about the evolution from 2018 to present day, because shit has changed.
It changes every year. The shit that back then doesn't work now. Like in 2020, when I was getting, a storm would hit, I'd make a swath map, from like Hail Trace or Hail Recon or whatever it was. And then I was like, holy hail, and put some stuff, and hail just hit here. And dude, I was cleaning up. Nobody could knock doors. Industry shifted. Now, there's a lot more Facebook, and it's a very hard market, or tougher anyway. You're never getting, $20 leads again. That's for sure. And so, and I don't want to say like quality, like decent leads too.
Yeah, we can get some $20 leads. I can get you $5 leads.
Yeah, if you want, dude. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. Stuff that actually turns into shit. I got for $2. I got an HOA in 2020. Ended up being, 850 squares and almost $100,000 job, and I was like, this is life. And then,
fucking love roofing. Let's go.
It was pretty cool, but like I said, it shifted. Now, dude, I love marketing's my favorite part. It's so interesting. And so, like you said, get a free backlink. One of the reasons I do these podcasts, I haven't even talked to you about this, man, but I was like, hey, I love sharing. I love learning. I always learn something when I'm on a podcast. I feel like if I can help somebody, cool. But then I always ask the people, I'm like, cool, do you mind putting like an SEO friendly about me and then a backlink to my company and on all the about sections? So instead of asking you after the show, I'll put it on you now. Like that's all I ask back, And so these are the things that we try to do. And, you got to keep evolving with it. It's going to AI now, and there's AI is going to be a big part of it. What's it take to show up on AI search? But I don't remember the original question. I just started talking about marketing.
It's all right, dude. We were just talking about how it changes, picking agencies. We can get back to that. But you hit on something that's incredibly crucial there, right? So can you put an SEO friendly about me? So it's funny because my guy, Christian, who handles all the producing and editing, and I'm sure he misses me, right? Because I haven't been in studio. So he's editing from a distance and doing all the things, doing God's work for me. And I want to let you know you're appreciated, even though I'm not there right with you in the studio. One of the things that I've been creating for clients recently is really just like a standard boilerplate and like encouraging them to shoot more videos. Some clients, Eric Reno, for instance, right? Shoots hella content. Okay, great job, Eric. Now let's take something excellent, make it better. So putting together like an entity statement about Eric and Paramount Roofing that's going to be used universally on every description for every YouTube video that you put out. And there's going to be kind of an abridged version for Facebook and for X and for LinkedIn and for these different platforms to close the loop on that entity authority. And make sure you're using the links to all your profiles. You can use the personal and the business, right? Because, your company is also you, and you want the the search engines. You want the LLMs to understand that gap is bridged and who is what. And here's my hypothesis. With videos, with that type of entity statement, with those social links going to and from your company, your website, your social profiles, is as it becomes harder to discern, not only for humans, but for search engines, LLMs, to determine what's authentic and what's not bullshit, what's not AI slop, generated nonsense. Those people that are doing these things now and doing them consistently and feeding consistent signals from as many places as possible are going to win big.
Yeah, it's like being in before the bubble bursts on the .com boom, right? Like you got in early, you're winning. So let me ask you a question. So in your opinion on this situation, like I'm getting like SEO friendly things along all these different things, and we're putting them here and there. But as an example, so you want your NAP to be the same, like standardized across the board. I think that when people in the audience and the people listening are saying, hey, the about me's and the descriptions and like podcasts and anywhere that you have something about you and or your company, is that better standardized?
1,000,000%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Like that's what I'm building out for clients now is like when you shoot content, you want this, right? And the first part is the description. If you're on YouTube, the channel description, then the entity statement, then the about the owner, right? And having that consistently. So if you're on 40 different podcasts, like the same signal is being reinforced. The NAP is a beautiful example of that. And that's how I explain it. So, I mean, you should start your own agency is what I'm telling you. But yes, reinforcing the same thing the same way consistently across all platforms is going to behoove your benefit or benefit your brand, your company, you as a person, and the overall authority of both, like the entity as a whole.
I love that.
So if I'm you today, I create that, right?
So here's the thing. I'm glad you said that because I've been doing all of this, but I let them, I say, hey, create one. Or if they were like, if you want to make one, cool, then I grab one and send it to them. But now I know that I need to be standardized. I can be more like, hey, do you mind adding this as opposed to saying, hey, add something for me?
Yeah. Like, hey, I don't want to ask you to do any heavy lifting. I know you're busy, so I went ahead and put this together for you. If you could just paste this into the description, I'd be incredibly grateful.
Dude, I love it. See, I learn stuff every time I come on. I love it.
Dude, listen, man, that's what this is about. The magical exchanges. What's the worst marketing story, like the horror story that you've had? Everyone's got one. Most people have a lot of them.
Yeah, I don't have a ton. I will say that processing through Google AdWords, I absolutely despise. Not much fun or luck with that, dude. I got burnt for like 30 grand just a few months ago because I let somebody get on and run and do some stuff. I don't have a huge one outside of that. I'm kind of to the mindset. Maybe it's just my mindset. I've tried a lot of stuff that doesn't work, but like I'm willing, because you see these things all the time, and I'm constantly trying to figure out how it works because I know it's constantly changing, right? And so there's new shit all the time. Here, 6 months ago, I never answer cold emails either, but a guy had a really good one, same as you, right? And so I was like, and I talked to the guy, and he's like, I got, AI is coming out, so maybe shit's shifted from a couple years ago. I got a really good system for cold outreach to get you commercial leads. $1,000, and I'm gonna get you this. I should get you about 10 to 12 leads a month, commercial leads, right? For that $1,000. I'm like, I'll try it. He's like, I could get more, but at least 10. Tried that, didn't work, right? Like he got me like one lead that wasn't even really a lead. It was like somebody that's like, oh, they're not here right now, but I can give you their information. And he's like, here's their information. I'm like, that's not a lead. But I'm okay with it because I'm okay spending $1,000 knowing that something doesn't work instead of sitting there at night wondering, did that work? Would that have made me $2 million? I'm okay spending $15,000 a year trying 15 different things to know if they work or not. Because if one don't work, I'm going to make way more.
Let's go. I was gonna point out an opportunity because you're good on camera, right? You're comfortable, and I think that more people should see your face. And when doing so, I uncovered something else that's kind of broken, and I don't know if you want me to share that with you after the show, or if you want me to share my screen and show now.
What's it on?
Website.
So we had a brand new website launched yesterday. When did you pull that?
Just now.
And they're still rebuilding. Like this whole week, they're fixing. Like they put it on and they're fixing pages. So, but feel free, because maybe I can point it out and see if that's happening or not. But let's go.
Yeah, let's. How do I share my screen? So what happened? So there's this Elgato teleprompter. First of all, I just realized this when I rented the studio, which is fantastic because typically I have like a stand, I have the camera, and I have the TV behind. I look at you on the TV, and then I look at the camera when I talk. But it's always like I'm not, unless I'm staring into the camera, which doing that for an hour and a half, staring at that lens is really painful. But this is great because the teleprompter, it's like a hologram of the screen, which is fantastic because now I can look directly in the camera and I'm looking at you. The problem is now I don't control my screen from my screen. I got to look at the holograph. So just give me a second here. Let me figure out how to share my screen. Yeah. So just have them take a look at this. Now, the reason I was coming here, and I actually shot a reel about this yesterday. So we come to the website, and I know that they're working on it, right? Yeah. We got the FAQs. I'm sure they got some schema associated with these. That'd be good. We got some folks on here. Fantastic. But like in this space, if I'm a homeowner and I'm greeted by a video of the owner welcoming them to our website, explaining things that need to be explained about roof inspections, like why are they important? And we have some anecdotal evidence. So maybe we tell a story, but we have a 30 to 45 second video of that handsome face talking about roof inspections in Indiana. What is the likelihood that you evoke some sort of emotion that is positive and increases the likelihood that you convert on that page, right?
I think that's good. I think where we kind of ran into the back and forth on having video is the load speeds. And if you look at that, one of the things I can tell you about our new website is it's fast as fuck, boy. Right? Like it was comparatively to like our old shit, it loads like that. And so you got the load speed, which is going to help you retain people. And then when we had videos before, it really slowed it down and bogged it down. Then your bounce rate increases. And so that was one of the things that we were like talking about. So if there's a way to add a video without slowing down the website, and I don't know if that's embedding just a YouTube video or whatever it is, totally open. And I think it's a great idea. I just don't want to slow site speed.
Yeah, so work with your web team. I know there's file compression opportunities. I know that, yes, we would rather have it hosted on YouTube than other ways. And I think that you'll find that there's opportunities to work around the constraints of your site suffering when you run that page speed insight report. And you're like, why is it a 63? Why is it this? It's like, okay. Also, I will say, if you run that same report 10 times, you're going to get 10 different answers. So, I've seen some people become incredibly obsessed with that number. And I'll tell you, yes, like it is important. Also, like I could go run ESPN's. And if you look at, what their site score speed is, you do it at home. You'd probably tell them to fire their entire marketing team. Just saying, you can find some really big brands that are powerhouses, and you go to the website, there's no issues with load, and then you go to, you look at the core web vitals or the page speed, there's Pingdom, page speed insights, and you're like, this place sucks. But there's a right and wrong way to do it, and obviously you could test those things, right? So whatever's happening there, though, with the code being displayed, I think it should be a pretty easy fix. And shouldn't be customer facing, but I'm glad that you're getting a new website. I'm sad that we didn't talk a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, because I would have loved to throw my hat in the ring. We could have made you something great, but I'm sure it's going to be just as good, if not better. It's fine.
Nice.
He said nice. What other things? So we've got the realtor relationships that have held strong consistently from 2020 or 2018, right? What are some of the other things that have changed, and where have you seen the biggest gains competitively? And you don't have to share this if you don't want to, but from a marketing perspective, when it relates to acquiring customers.
It's easy. Super easy. Google. GBP. Everybody builds it and leaves it. When I started, and I don't mind sharing because I'm probably too far ahead of everybody locally to have them pass me unless they're cheating. And I think they would probably get banned for that because Google knows these days.
And if they don't, they find out soon.
It'll come out eventually. But I dude, I think it was like $115. One of the things was like a little course that I bought, and by course, it's a book. It was like literally like a little digital book to read on growing your GBP. And so had all these things, this is how you do it. This is the stuff that you add, blah, 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 blah. And then, get reviews when you're driving to work, and now you got to think at this point, it's just me, right? So it's like when you're driving to work, use Google Maps and like hit the directions on it, recognizes that somebody's driving to, that's me driving home because it's out of my house. There's not even an office, right? I'm hitting directions to my own house. But there's like 8 things that, it told you to do to get your GBP to rank in that map pack. But the thing that I've always been, and still to this day that I'm very consistent on, is reviews. And when I first started getting reviews, nobody was doing it on a consistent basis, which to me is insane because people are quick to leave reviews if they're mad. So, I mean, if you're doing 1,000 roofs a year and you get 15, 20 people that are pissed off or don't want to pay a bill and they're leaving you bad reviews to try to blackmail you, or you just messed up on something, even if you make it right, they're still leaving you a bad review, half the time. I don't know. Depends on how mad they are. And you're not asking for positive reviews, then you look really bad. Right?
Yeah.
People aren't thinking, get a roof, let me go on and leave them a review on a regular basis. People that understand that they're valuable do, but now you got a really bad score. So I started getting reviews. First year I got like 100. And, I'm asking even the people that I don't do work for, like, hey, I go at your house, I inspect the roof. You don't have any damage. Will you leave me a review, Michael, and just tell people that I'm an honest person and I didn't tell you to file a claim or try to sell you a roof you don't need? Cool. I got more calls off those reviews. Like, I just want an honest assessment. I want to know if I did a job for them. I just didn't get paid. I did a job. I inspected the roof. I drove to their house. I spent 30 minutes. I talked to them about the inspection, and I drove out of there. That's an hour and a half of my day. And so I did a job. I'm going to get paid. And if that pay is in a Google review, so be it. And so I got like 100 and something reviews the first year. And then I noticed that like Bone Dry is massive. It's the biggest roofing company in Indiana, multi-state, whatever. I think it's $60-80 million a year. They're at like 300 reviews. And then another company was right below them at like maybe 200. And I'm at 100. I'm like, I'm already in like 7th place, dude. Like, this is fucking crazy. And now I'm hitting on the map pack. There's also evidence of it because I'm getting 100 in a year as opposed to 100 over 10 years. And next thing you know, we're like going by, and now I'm past them. I'm past everybody. Like Central Indiana, I think the entire state at like 500. Then they catch on. And then they're like, okay, hold on. And then so they're starting to get reviews now, but I'm already 100 ahead of them at this point. And then the third company falls off, and then I'm leading, Bone Dry for a while. And then about a year and a half ago, they passed us. I think they did like an old text blast to all of their customers or something because they got like 350 reviews in a month, and went right past us. So now we're like 100 behind them. But we just make it part like, hey, dude, we pay bonuses to all the sales guys. If you get so many deals, you get this, but every bonus that we pay is based on whatever that is, and 4 5-star Google reviews. Like, you're talking to 50 customers a month. You may have 30 inspections if you're really busy that don't have damage. You could get 20 reviews out of that. We need 4 if you want your bonus truck released. So that's been the biggest thing is owning that GPP through Google reviews, and some of the other things that we do.
It warms my heart to hear you say that, especially the part where the customers that weren't customers, they were just, they didn't need anything. So I'm going to share something with you.
customers, just not paying customers.
Exactly. There's an exchange of value, right? And a lot of folks don't think of this. So I'm going to share with you something I went over and created, and you'll see this. You'll probably see a post on Facebook. No lead left behind. 3x your reviews. So once we get to the point that every objection has tried to become overcome, and you're not going to get the close, you do this, right? So there's a detailed recap, longevity warning. We talk about the things, right? The reason I specified synthetic underlayment rather than standard felt is because of our wind zones. If a shingle blows off, yada, yada. So we're just talking about value, talking about value, talking about value. I love the idea of having some sort of leave behind that differentiates a good contractor from a bad contractor, or just differentiates us and things that we do just to build value as they're trying to make their decision. And then we pivot into the review ask, right? So I totally respect that you need some more time to think. I'm just glad I could show up and help you understand what's actually happening on your roof. Was this helpful, right? Was anything that we talked about helpful? Was the drone inspection helpful? Was me going in the attic helpful? Do you have a better understanding of how you can make the best decision for your home and your family based on anything we talked about today? It's okay, great. Can I ask you to do me a small favor? Get the commitment for them to do a small favor, because here's what we know, right? If somebody's being sold, you've already tried to overcome the objection through referencing your trial closes and the information they give you to close them with, and they're just not budging. What do they want more than anything? Get the fuck off my property. Please and thank you. So we leverage that, right? Would you mind doing me a small favor? Sure, anything, dude. Just fucking go. All right, fantastic. I'm going to make sure I got all the photos and everything that I need for the file. I just shared my GBP listing with you. That's where we can, we get our best customers from these reviews, right? And I know you said that this was valuable and this was valuable. So while I just, go do this final walkthrough, make sure I have everything I need, if you could just take 30 seconds to share exactly, what value we brought, it would mean the world to us. And, I hope that we have the opportunity to work on your home. It seems like there's a lot of alignment here, but even if we don't, I'm glad that you're going to find somebody based on the information that we gave that you feel is best for your circumstances. It just creates that sense of urgency, right? I'm going to go do this one last walkthrough. You already committed to doing me a small favor. A lot of people lie. A lot of people don't like to be confronted as a liar in the moment, right? So it's you've positioned in a way where they've professed the value that you've added. You've set an expectation. You've created urgency, and you're going the extra mile just to make sure everything's buttoned up. You'll get it every time, folks. Triple your reviews today.
That's wild. So for everybody's information, I think with the exception of maybe a quick Facebook Messenger thing a couple years ago, I don't think we've ever talked, right? And so that is almost verbatim and exactly what I tell my guys to do. Almost seriously. So this is it. I'm hey, and I'm using the example of a no damage because we're primarily insurance, right? And so I'm hey, there's no damage. You show them the information, tell them there's no damage, whatever you need to tell them, ask them for the review and say, hey, I'm going to put my ladder up. I'm going to walk around the property, do one final look around, throw my ladder back. If you don't mind filling this out, and then I'll be back up to talk to you. Because if you send it to them, they 100% plan on doing it. But as soon as they walk through the house, their kids bugging them, this is going on.
Life gets in the way.
It's not them saying, fuck Mike. It's them just going, I forgot, dude. I totally forgot. I was planning on it. So by saying, hey, do it right now, and then setting the expectation that you're going to come back in a minute once it's done, they sit there and go, I walk around. If there's a piece of trash in their yard, I'll pick it up and take it over the trash can, throw my stuff in there. And then I come back, and then they've done it. Did you get that taken care of yet? Awesome. Thank you so much. If there's anything I can do for you, ask for reviews if you want, or referrals if you want, however you want to do it, but say a goodbye, a thank you, and leave. But you've put them on the spot to do it right then because they'll naturally forget. And hilarious, it's basically yours.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's incredible. And on the other side of it, it's the same conversation when you sell a customer. You're doing a final walkthrough, and it's okay, ask them a few questions, right? How was the experience versus what you thought? I know you were, real nervous about choosing a contract that was good for you. Okay, great. If you had to rate it 1 to 5 stars, what would you rate it? Okay, fantastic. Pay him a compliment. I'm really glad you chose this onyx color shingle. The curb appeal when I pull up, man, I got to tell you, the way it pops with your trim, fantastic. Would you mind doing me a small favor? I'm gonna make sure, I know we can't guarantee we get every nail, but I'm gonna run the mag strip one more time. I'm gonna take one more walk around just to make sure I's are dotted, T's are crossed. if you could, share what your experience was, what by the time I get back, it would be incredibly helpful. We're a small business in the local community, and we want to help as many homeowners as possible because we know how hard it is to find a contractor that you can trust.
Yeah, for sure.
You're getting it every fucking time, dude. Every time.
That's why I have that for the bonus. I'm like, guys, I'm giving you 20 leads a month. If half of those are no damage, you should have that many reviews for no damage reviews. So I know you 4. That's an easy number. And most of them get it in the last couple days if they haven't got them all month or whatever, I'm like, dude, I could, if somebody paid $25 a review at a company, I could pay my mortgage with review.
It's so incredible. That was, how ironic. That was, I'm gonna do one of those like salesy posts on Facebook, like triple your reviews today. You steal this formula, click the link below. Right? Because here's the thing, dude. When you put value into the ether, like nobody listens to it, right? I hate that it works, but like that shit works, and for whatever reason, fine, whatever.
I don't get it, dude. I tell my guys all the time. I'm like, listen, they don't do it, right? Because it's not a habit. Oops, sorry about that. It's not a habit, and so it's work to do it. To ask for that review feels like work, and it's an extra step. But if you make it part of that's just how I put my ladder up. I say that I put my ladder. It doesn't feel like work at all because it's part of my process. It's just easy. You just make it part of your process and it's a no-brainer. But 99% of people that are listening aren't going to do it.
You should do it. This should be the one thing that you do. I promise you, it will help with Google. It will help with the LLMs. It'll help strengthen the authority of your brand. And when somebody looks, to your point, Aaron, like we didn't do, they came out, they did a comprehensive inspection, and I got to tell you, they were honest, right? If there's one thing that homeowners don't associate with roofers, it's honesty. I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you right now, and it is what it is. But I'm uniquely qualified to empathize because when people think about marketing company, they don't associate honesty with us either. So, with that being said, we're feeling the same things here. So make sure that you're doing everything you can to influence the narrative in the easiest way possible. It's really just adopting that type of process, right? It's and you said it best, right? And literally, I think I'm going to send you the clip of the podcast I shot a few days back. I explicitly said it's not like the reason people don't leave you positive reviews is not because it's malicious or they don't care to. Like life gets in the way. You leave without creating that sense of urgency and that accountability by going back in front of that homeowner after the expectation's set and they already said they'll do it. Guess what they do? They open their phone. They open their phone to, they've got 17 missed text messages. If they're like me, they've got 386 and 100,000 emails and 43 missed calls. And it's like, holy shit, I'm a dog in a dog park. The last thing, I promise you, the last thing I'm going to remember to do is to go back and leave you a review.
Especially if they're just looking it up themselves, like go to Google and leave us a review. That's not even a link. Like, not happening.
Yeah, standard practice, make sure everyone has the link, whether it's, saved in their notepad on their phone or what have you. A lot of people are using tap cards, which is like, hey, if you could pull out your phone, I can send you right to the link itself. Like, make it as easy as possible to get what you want, which is just an honest piece of feedback about what your experience was dealing with us. Like you said, it's not. Then it's not a chore. It's fine.
It's part of the process. Make it
part of the process, baby. Part of the process. What questions you got for me, bro?
Oh man, I don't know.
This conversation was great, by the way. I'm really happy that.
But I can tell you that I love taking away that nugget for the permanent sub portion. I am doing that. I'm not going to be that guy that we talk in a little bit and I'm like, oh, I'm still just having them make it up. Fucking today, that changes.
Well, I know that you're going to do it because you're going to have to send it to me.
Yeah.
That's the only way that I'm going to include an about you on our YouTube is if you send me this because I know you need it. You said you're going to do it and that's kind of how I'm going to be holding you accountable. It's fine.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah, I'll have that done. So, okay, let's talk about this in case anybody else is doing this. So I want it to be an about me that then has me SEO, company SEO, and then my backlink, right? Best one. So you said my company is me. So I'm going to have a little bit about me leading into that, a little bit about the company. What's the best formula? How big? How big should that be? What's the right size?
Yeah, so YouTube, you get like 5,000 characters in the description section. So, for instance, for our show, we're always going to do I mean, shit, dude. I mean, we could. Let me. Let's see here. Let me see if I can maneuver through my Google Drive. That is an absolute war field. Let's see. I want to show. I'd love to show the one for Ascend that I put together. I don't know that I'm going to be able to find it on the spot, and to the audience and to you, Aaron, I'm sorry. But for us, for instance, right, we're going to have an about, right? Like about the show. We're going to have like links to connect with us. We're going to shout out Roofer right at the top because that's important as they help bring this to life, and we want to make sure they get requisite spotlight on them. And then from there, it's like about Ascend, about Mike, and there's going to be a description. And I want to say it's like few hundred words about Ascend. And this is something that you can play around with. You guys can do like keyword research on like a SEMrush. You can ask Gemini, and then like what I like to do is like, if you're gonna do that, ask Gemini, ask ChatGPT, ask Perplexity, like, and then land on like a statement that makes sense based on what you guys do, services you offer. One thing that a lot of people miss on, any type of like certification. So I'm master elite, or I'm, platinum, HAG certified, whatever, right? Like include that stuff because that is authoritative, right? So I would recommend breaking out the company. I'd recommend breaking out a personal, and then having the corresponding every social media channel associated with the company, with the personal linked as well under the corresponding section where it's, this is how you'd reach Aaron. Put your LinkedIn on there, right? Have a company LinkedIn. Like a lot of people don't have a company LinkedIn. I'm not saying you do or don't. I didn't research that, but X has Grokkapedia right now, right? So if they're going to be citing information, if your company and you don't have an X account, what's the likelihood? I would assume, right? It's a safe assumption that they're going to consider their own platform when they're trying to look for authority, right? So I've rolled it out to people. I'm like, create an X account. They're like, dude, well, fucking what? Ain't no customers finding me on X. I'm like, you're goddamn right. But I'll tell you who is. Grokkapedia, baby. Right? Other LLMs, right? They're going to send signals. So here's the thing. You're doing social content. You're doing video. You should be using, and I don't care if it's Hootsuite, if it's SEMrush, Social Poster, doesn't matter. You should be using something to schedule and cross-publish that in one easy way. Now we just link the X account, right? Because it's already going to GBP. It's going to LinkedIn. It's going to Facebook. It's going to IG. It's going to TikTok. Now it goes to X, right? So now your content is now being pushed in X.
Absolutely love it, dude. So I got to interview at 2. So I'm going to try to do this evening, but if not, I'll get it to you. When's this go up?
I don't know, dude. It'll be a minute. You got time.
I'm sending it to the marketing guy that told me how to do it. So I feel like I got to get an A+ on my assignment. So I need a couple days because you know what I mean? But I'm going to get it to you early next week, and feel free to hurt my feelings because I want it right.
I don't pull punches. If you know anything about me, know that.
I got thick skin. I tell people I got one feeling and I reserve it for my family. Other than that,
love that. Yeah.
I'll get it over to you, and you'll be my first official one, and then they'll all be like that everywhere I can get them.
Dude, fantastic. And man, this was incredible. I really appreciate you taking some time, dropping some knowledge on the audience, and honestly, just the dialogue. I'm incredibly excited to come smoke you in ping pong. That's going to be fantastic. Love to be the person to humble somebody, right? So, and if I get humbled, like that's needed too, right? I just don't see it happening. So make me a believer, I guess is what I'm saying. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you for tuning in today, because it would be really weird to just shoot this content and have nobody ever watch it. I really appreciate every one of the 9 views we're going to get on this. And shout out to the team at Roofer. I appreciate y'all for making this happen, man. And we out.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.